Okay, we are live. I'm having issues with playing the video today, guys. So sorry if you can't see me. Shame, I know, but I'll carry on and go through things anyway. So welcome to the pre-market overview. My name is Becky. My email address is here, becky@tradewithufos.com. So if you need me, you can email me on that. We also have the support team that you can email, support@tradewithufos.com. So if you have any questions, you can always email us on that. We're always quicker at getting back to you via that email. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go through our newsletter. That is the point of the overview, is we go through the newsletter that we send out. It's newsletter@tradewithufos.com if you want to get subscribed to it so that you can see the same document that I'm going to go through. You'll see that every day. It will come through via email. So the overview, what we do, like I said, we go through the newsletter, and the newsletter goes through 4 of the major markets in the world, the direction that they're going in, how far we think they're going to go in that direction, and where we think they might change. I'm just going to try here again with video. Okay, video looks like it's working again now. Let's just wait for it. Is it working? Okay, we'll see. Hopefully I'll pop up in a second, guys. Okay, so I just need to read the disclaimers. But before I do that, I'm just going to go through and let you know what sessions we have upcoming. I'll take my glasses off as well so I don't have glare on there. So, okay, let's see what we have today. So today being a Friday, we have futures at 1 p.m. and options at 9 a.m. Eastern. So that's always what happens on Fridays. You'll see that we have stocks and investing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we have sharpening sessions over the weekend. So that's going to be going over methodology, and there's also going to be some psychology sessions as well. So that's what we have in terms of the live upcoming sessions within the subscription for Tradictive. Upcoming classes, the next one we have is the backtesting class. That is July 18th to 19th. So it's a 2-day class. It'll be me taking that class. And what we do is we go through taking a methodology, taking a strategy, and applying it to the past to see whether or not it would have worked for you. So you can build your experience and confidence without actually taking very much time to do so. So that's the next course that we have. After that, we have futures, stocks, psychology, and trading plans. So I'll let you guys have a look at those dates whilst I read the disclaimer. Okay, so the following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradictive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating the method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. The following presentation is for educational purposes only. All the symbols and trading ideas discussed are for demonstrating and are not recommendations. Active options and futures trading carries a high degree of risk and may not be suitable for all traders. Past historical trading performance of real or simulated trading does not guarantee success and may not be indicative of future results. You Can Trade is an online media publication service which provides educational investment content and ideas along with live trading demonstrations and does not provide investment or trading advice, research, or recommendations of any kind. Please visit www.youcantrade.com for additional disclosure information. I've also realised I don't think I said what day it is. It's July 10th today, Friday, July 10th. Hopefully you guys have had a good week so far in the markets, obviously today, rounding everything up. Right, let's go and take a look at our newsletter and see what we have here. So I'm just going to scroll into this, make it a little bit bigger, so those of you on a phone or something can see it a bit better. So this is what the newsletter looks like. And as I said, we go through 4 of the major markets in the world. We go through the S&P, which is one of the major equity indexes in the world, oil and gold, which are both commodities, and then the euro, so obviously a currency. For the euro, we're looking at the euro versus the US dollar, which is the highest traded currency pair in the world. And the US dollar itself is responsible for 80% of transactions worldwide in the markets every single day. So we've covered a lot of what goes on out there in the markets, whether you trade these directly or not, and probably a lot of what you do will be correlated to these markets. You'll see that we're going to go through the daily time frame for each of these. Of course, different things happen on different time frames, but hopefully the daily coincides with something that you do or something that you look at. And as I said before, what we're going to look at is what direction the markets are going in. So we use the word climate for that, or you could say trend or environment. Basically, what way is the market going at the moment? And propagating is how far do we think it's going to continue doing that? Based on statistics and probability, how far are we into what is normal for a move in a particular direction? We use the Auto Climate app to give us the figures for these two. Then we also look at nearest UFOs. So UFO stands for unfilled order. What we mean by unfilled orders is where we expect there to be a big stack of buy orders that could push price back up if price were to ever get there, or a big stack of sell orders that could push price back down if price were to ever get there. So we use our Auto UFO app to pick these out on a chart for us and to show us where these are, where there could be orders that could turn price. We're also going to go through volatility, which is basically how fast markets move. I'll get to that a bit later and explain what volatility is. And then what we'll do is we'll come down and we'll look at news, and we'll look at just a couple of reminders before we round off. Okay, all right, let's start with the S&P. That's the first market that we're looking at here. We are using SPX.X. That's the chart symbol that we use. So let's take a look. Where are we? Here we are. Okay, so this is the S&P. This is our Auto Climate app on the bottom here, and that is showing us the trend or the direction or the climate that the market is in. At the moment on the S&P, the Auto Climate app is showing us a thick blue dot. So being blue, it's telling us that we're in an upwards climate or an upwards trend. Being thick, it's telling us that we have probabilities in our favor. If it were a thin dot, then it means it's an unconfirmed climate and we would have less probabilities in our favor. So a thick blue dot means that we have a confirmed uptrend or a confirmed upwards climate with more probabilities on our side. In terms of buy UFOs, the closest stack of buy UFOs we have is just here at 29.55.45 to 29.33.59. That's where we expect there to be buy orders that could push price back up if we were to get there. I think yesterday we had one just up here, around here somewhere, and we can see price actually hit it and came off from it, which is exactly what we expect from UFOs. Closest sell orders or closest sell UFO is just here at 32.07.18 to 32.33.13. Again, that's where we expect there to be sell orders that could push price back down. As we see, we're obviously a little bit closer to that one at the top there than we are to the stack of buy orders. Okay, so understanding in terms of propagating, how far could this climate continue? How far could this trend keep going? What we see here, what these figures tell us, is that normally the S&P will go up for 11 candles on a daily chart. I'm just going to round up that number. All of these numbers here on the right-hand side, I'm always going to round them up. Whatever they are, I'm just going to round it to the next whole number. So 11 candles on a daily chart is how long the S&P would normally go up for based on statistics. And we are on candle number 6, meaning we're about halfway, just over halfway into what is a usual move to the upside for this market. So we have a confirmed upwards climate, so probabilities on our side, and we have probabilities on our side that it's going to continue because it's not yet hit what is statistically average for this type of move. However, as we saw, we're pretty close to some sell UFOs or a sell UFO. So it'd be interesting to see which of those forces win of the two if we do hit that UFO. So let's just come down here and understand volatility. So like I said, volatility just explains or just means how fast we expect markets to move, or more specifically, how far we expect price to move within given periods of time. So for the S&P, we use the VIX, VIX.X. Basically, these numbers come from the options of those markets. So options are traded by professional traders, and when they're buying and selling the options and therefore setting the price, sort of inherent in what they're willing to buy and sell the options for is the risk they're willing to take based on how far they think price will move. So in effect, the price of the option reflects what professional traders think in terms of the volatility, and that's where we get these numbers from. So it's a professional opinion as to how far price will move. So on the VIX, we can see under this column here, current implied volatility, that's that column there, we can see that we have an annualized number, that's all of those numbers there are annualized numbers, of 29.75%, meaning we would expect a movement either up or down within the S&P within 1 year of 29.75%. If we reverse engineer that, then that means we would expect a movement in 1 day of up or down 59.07 points. In 1 week, we would expect a movement up or down of 130.04 points. And in 1 month, we would expect a movement up or down of 270.70 points. So again, just gives us an idea of how fast these markets are likely to move in either direction. Okay, so moving on to oil, that's the next market we'll look at. We're going to look at CL, that is the continuous futures contract for oil. So we'll take a look at that. This is the only one actually of our 4 markets that has changed its climate since yesterday, which we can see by the chart kind of expected that was going to happen as it started to sort of go sideways. Just manipulating the chart a bit here so we can see everything we want to see. So down here is our Auto Climate app. Might be a little bit hard to see that dot, and that's kind of the point of it. It is a thin dot because what that is telling us, what the AutoClimate app is telling us by showing us a thin dot, is that we have less probabilities on our side, less likelihood that if we were to get into a trade that followed this trend, that it would work out for us. It's a red dot, which says that we're in a downwards trend. So we're in an unconfirmed downwards trend. Again, bear in mind, we lack a little bit of probability here. Now, closest buy UFO, where we expect there to be buy orders that could turn price up, is just down here, 25.87 to 25.36. And closest sell UFO just up here, 53.39 to 55.27. As you can see, we are pretty much halfway through. We've been there for a few days now, haven't really gone anywhere, which is obviously reflected now in the climate being undecided or unconfirmed, and not close to any UFOs. So again, not surprising that we haven't really moved. Okay, so in terms of propagating, how far can we expect this market to continue going down in this case, because we have a down climate, despite the fact it's unconfirmed. What this tells us is that oil would normally go down for 9 candles on a daily chart, and we are on candle number 1. So if this movement continues, it becomes a confirmed climate, we would have probabilities on our side that it would continue, because it's nowhere near, obviously, what is average or what is normal for this market. But like we said, bear in mind, it's unconfirmed, so we do have less probabilities. We can see that here on our newsletter. There's a little cross there next to the arrow, and that's what tells us that we're in an unconfirmed climate when we look at the newsletter. Okay, so in terms of movement on oil, let's understand volatility, how fast we would expect it to move. So we're using OVX.X. That's the chart we use to get the implied volatility numbers. And what we can see from that is that we would expect a movement in 1 year on oil of up or down of 53.77%, which means a movement in 1 day, either up or down of 1.32 points, a movement in 1 week, either up or down of 2.91 points, and a movement in 1 month of 6.06 points. Okay, so moving on to gold, that's the next market we'll look at. Once again, using the continuous futures contract for gold, so that's at GC, that's the charting symbol that we're using. Let's have a look down here. Okay, there we are. So once again, down here, we have our AutoClimate app, and it is showing us a thick blue dot, which is telling us we're in a confirmed upwards climate. Again, blue tells us it's up, thick tells us it's confirmed. Closest stack of buy orders or closest buy UFO is 1798.9 to 1766.3, and closest sell orders just up here with our sell UFO 1863.6 to 1879.0. Again, as we can see, we have already hit this UFO a couple of times there, and we're sort of coming out of it at the moment, which again is what we would expect. Buy UFOs push price up, and that's what we're seeing there. Okay, so as we said before, with propagating, what we want to understand is what is average, what is statistical. But of course, sometimes we're going to go outside of that. In all data sets, you're going to have anomalies, you're going to have things that fall outside of what is probable. For us, what we want to do is put as many odds in our favor as possible. So that's not to say that sometimes things won't happen outside of that, but again, we want to be doing things where we have statistics on our side, probability on our side. We can see here from the propagating figures of gold that we have gone way beyond what is normal. So here we can see that gold would normally go up for 6 candles. So rounding that number up, 6 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 22. So quite far overextended, multiple times overextended to the upside. And we've just created a new buy UFO, which is also pushing us up. So it'd be interesting to see how many days we keep going and keep surpassing that average, keep surpassing those probabilities. Bear in mind that the longer we go past the average, or the longer we go past what is statistically likely, the less likely it is to work out. The longer you pull an elastic band, the more likely it is to contract. So although we have a confirmed upwards climate, and although we have a buy UFO, just bear in mind we are lacking probabilities for this climate to continue based on the statistics here. Okay, so in terms of movement on gold, what do we expect? We're looking at GVZ.X, that's where we get the numbers here, or GVZ.X. So the annualized numbers are 17.39%, meaning we would expect a movement up or down in gold in 1 year of 17.39%, which means in 1 day, we would expect a movement up or down of 19.9 points. In a week, a movement up or down of 43.7 points. And in a month, a movement up or down of 91.0 points. Okay, so last but not least, we are coming on to the euro versus the US dollar. That's the spot forex of this market, so that's what we're going to take a look at here. So let's go to this one, euro US dollar. Okay, once again, just going to move the chart about a little bit so we can see our UFOs up there. Here we go. Okay, so once again, auto climate app on the bottom showing us a thick blue dot, so telling us we're in a confirmed upwards climate. Closest buy UFO is here at 1.1252 to 1.1184. Just rounded that to the pips it needs to be. And as we can see on this one, again, we've hit this UFO a few times and we keep seeing it react to it. Not very strongly at the moment, but we are seeing a reaction. And that's what we would expect again, but buy UFOs push price up. As we can see from this one that was down here, that pushed price up here. So we touched it multiple times and it pushed price up. So again, that's what we expect from buy UFO. Closest sell UFO is up here at 1.1740 to 1.1816. That's where we expect there to be sell orders and selling pressure that could push price back down. As we can see, we're quite far away from that at the moment. So in terms of propagating, how long can we expect this market to continue going up for? Well, as we can see, the euro versus the US dollar would normally go up for 4 candles, again rounding that up, on a daily chart, and we are on candle number 5. So we're just overextended there as to what is probable, statistical or normal for this market. So again, we're losing probabilities that this climate will continue, but we do have a confirmed upwards climate and we have just come off of a buy UFO. So again, be interesting to see which forces work out of that, of those two things going on at the moment. Also bear in mind, of course, new UFOs can come into the markets, new orders can come into the markets and change things around. But again, it's always just about putting probability in our favor. And we use the Auto Climate app and the Auto UFO app as technology to help us do that. Okay, so let's just understand movement on the euro. What would we expect in terms of movement? We use EVZ.X, and we can see that we would expect an annualized movement of 7.03% either up or down in 1 year on the euro, meaning a movement up or down of 50 pips in 1 day, a movement up or down of 110 pips in 1 week, and a movement up or down of 229 pips in 1 month. Cool. So like we said, the volatility figures give us an idea of how quickly price is likely to move. The climate and the propagating stats give us an idea of in what direction it's likely to move. And the nearest UFOs give us an idea of where price could be likely to turn based on orders that are sat waiting to turn the market. Okay, so let's just come down and just talk very briefly about news. Now, as we've known this week, if you've been with me this week so far, we know the only news that really came out that could have really impacted the markets was Monday. We've had a pretty boring week in terms of news. Normally, there's more than just 1 day. Now, of course, we have filtered this. So if you want to play about with the filters and look at different things, you can go to www.fxstreet.com/economic-calendar. We've filtered it by US markets and by high impact news. So if you trade markets that are outside the US or you want to look at lower impact news, you can fiddle about with that and you will see different data than what we do. So when the figures come out, we will see under the actual column, we'll have data in it. As we can see there, that obviously came out on Monday. If it hasn't come out yet, say if it was today, later on in the day or whatever, then that would be blank for now. And we can see over on the left-hand side the time of day that it's coming out. Again, bear in mind, this has already happened, so nothing really to take note of for our trading today. Again, bear in mind that news is an indirect force in the markets. The most direct force that we can have are buy orders and sell orders. That's what moves price. That's what makes it go up and down. Of course, the news can impact the amount of buy and sell orders we have, so it is something to be aware of. You can go to that website, like we said, play about with the filters and use it in your trade plan, however makes the most sense to you. But just bear in mind, like we said, the most direct force is your buy and sell orders. Okay, so a couple of reminders before we round off. If you're not already part of the subscription to access our sessions every day and our support, then you can do so at www.tradictive.com/you-can-trade. Just a reminder, we have a free 14-day access. So if you want to try us out first, see if it makes sense before committing to anything, you can try us out for a couple of weeks for free. Next course, as we said, is the backtesting course. If you want to learn more about that, it's www.tradictive.com/backtesting-live. Like I said, it's me taking that class, so you can read a little bit about what we go through, what the modules are, what's the content of the class and all those things. And then just to say, you can register for any course and get an additional one for free. So the additional one that you pick has to be the same value or lesser. So go to the website and play about with that so that you can obviously make sure that you make the most out of that deal. Okay, so we will see you today 9 a.m. for options and 1 p.m. for futures because today is Friday, and then we will round off at the end of the week, so 4:15 p.m. Eastern. My colleague Boyan will be looking at what did happen today, what went as expected, and sort of reflect on what happened in the week, and then we'll see you again on Monday. So hope you guys have a good weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday. I'm sure we'll see you during the day in the various sessions that we hold. As always, email us if you need, support@tradewithufos.com. Otherwise, have a good one, guys. Have a good weekend, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.